What happens when a lead singer tries to become a drummer? Today, we find out. Ilona, lead singer of Ilona Mayu, has spent her whole life perfecting her craft as a vocalist. But recently, she took on a completely new challenge, learning the drums. And trust me, it's been an experience.
My brain knows what it wants to do, but the body will not listen.
It's about bridging the gap between the brain and the physical body.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know.
You get to the end of it and then all of a sudden it's like...
Oh, is the problem me?
With drums, what was the main annoyance, would you say?
The honest truth answer is...
I am a professional drummer. Yes, I said it. It's true. The person across from me, the lovely Ilona, is a new drummer. And there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that, as a professional drummer who has been doing it for quite some time, I forget about. Like the struggles of being a new drummer, which is exactly why I'm talking to you.
Hi.
The one and only Ilona.
Hi.
So what happened was, you have lessons with me for a month. Give me an overview. How do you feel?
I just needed an
now?
excuse to spend more time with you, honestly.
Oh my God, stop flirting with me. We're on air right now. Stop.
It was good. It was really hard. Because the honest truth answer is I'm very used to being good at my instrument and not having had much conscious effort into making that happen.
Yeah.
I've been singing since I was a child. I've had some singing lessons, but I could already sing by that point. I was just getting singing lessons to improve my technique, to make sure I was doing it healthily.
Yeah.
It's been really weird learning an instrument and having to go right from the beginning and not having that natural like talent for it, and then building on top of what's already there.
With drums, what was the main annoyance, would you say?
I think the thing that bothered me the most, and throughout our vlogs that we filmed of it, it's just me being like, my brain knows what it wants to do, but the body will not listen. And it drove me absolutely crazy because I felt like conceptually I understood exactly what it is I needed to do. I could explain it to someone. I could probably teach someone what it is that I was supposed to be doing, but I could not physically, I just could not translate that to my actual limbs and make them... I would be like, do this, and my limb would do something completely different. I'd be like, why? Why is there such a disconnect? And I still haven't really figured out
the biggest barrier.
The answer to that.
Like the biggest barrier, and I think what I said to you at the time, I've now said to every single other student, is what you just said, is that your brain can compute what is in front of it as a piece of information instantly almost. It's very straightforward, technically, but it's about bridging the gap between the brain and the physical body, which is why I always tell you to count out loud, because that's what that does.
Sometimes I found that helpful and sometimes I found it very distracting. So it was hard to
It does depend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the main
I just hadn't
role.
found quite the right... I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, since we did that series, I've not been able to continue because my drum kit setup's been taken away basically because I've just not had access to any of the pedals that I need. I have the kit, but I have no hi-hat or kick pedal.
Yeah.
So pretty fundamental.
Considering you live with a drummer, I'm very unimpressed
because he's
with
taken
him.
them away so he can play drums somewhere else.
It's almost like he's a professional drummer or something.
I'd say he needs them a little bit more than I do. I'm just trying to badly play the one song that I know, and he's trying to learn like an hour's worth of music for his actual band that he's playing real shows. But that's neither here nor there. I would have liked to have continued, and we've been talking about continuing the series and doing another one of our songs.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned that if I get back on the kit, I will have learnt things, but a lot of the little details of a lot of the gap filling will have just completely gone.
Yeah.
It will just be the major stuff. So I guess it's just a lot of like
you're
doing
building
two
upon...
steps forward and then a step back, and then you're constantly
And
doing
what
that.
you want to try and avoid is playing consistently, so there is no step back.
Exactly.
As such, especially when you're just starting out, and this is what happens to a lot of people as they go through, let's say, like a 30-day course or something. I did this with like a Couch to 5K. You get to the end of it, and then all of a sudden it's like
done.
There is no goal.
I've done it now. I think there is that risk of you think, okay, well, if I put in the work for a month, then I can relax.
Yeah.
And
then I get to stop.
And then I've
done it now.
And then I get to stop.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it just depends on the kind of person you are and what you need.
And what the goal is.
And what your goal is. Some people really thrive. Like some people in the crash course have really thrived being given what to do and handed all the tools that they need.
They just want to be told.
They've gone off And now they're like, cool, I practice every day. I'm amazing. I'm having a great time. It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
And then some people were like, this was too intense because this wasn't quite what I
Yeah.
needed. So it depends on the person and their needs. That's why we're very specific about who we pick, because who we kind of offer it to, because we don't want to put someone on a course that isn't actually really going to help them.
I remember you saying, what was the main thing in terms of setup and stuff? Because with the crash course, it's online, or should be.
Yes.
And I was physically with you, but you were having issues with the kick pedal.
Yes. Right? There's something that I talked about this in one of my practice sessions that I vlogged, where I was really beating myself up about not being able to I was just really struggling with playing the hi-hat correctly, and I felt like I was doing it right, but just the gear was fighting me. And I was like, oh, is the problem me? Because obviously I have no point of reference as to whether I'm just bad or if there's something wrong with the gear.
So basically the hi-hat pedal was stiff,
it was stuck.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually, so the hi-hats just were not opening when I was lifting up my foot. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? I don't understand. And I have no way of knowing. And it took, Ryan looking at it and being like, oh yeah, the pedal's just broken. Like, you just need to change the pedal. And then he changed it. And I was like, oh, it's
I can play.
Amazing at hi-hat.
Yeah.
I'm hi-hat now.
Yeah.
And I had a similar problem with the kick, where just the kick pedal that I had originally was also like, it kept swinging back really hard and smashing me in the foot. And I ended up getting a bruise on the top of my right foot because it hurt, because it kept happening so much. And again, I was like, why am I doing it? Like, why does this keep happening? And the moment I changed to a different pedal, a better pedal, the problem completely eradicated and my technique massively improved, because I had the right tools to work with. So it's difficult, because when you're a beginner drummer as well, not only do you not have the reference that is actually what the issue is, and that's what your limitation is. It's not necessarily you, it's your gear, but then that leads to a question of accessibility, right? So if you're a beginner drummer, you're not necessarily going to go out. Some people are very lucky and they can just go straight top of the range. Let me buy the $5,000 kit and all the bells and whistles and everything I'll ever possibly need.
Doesn't necessarily make them a better drummer. But
but it can help.
It eliminates
this issue specifically. And then it means that someone who is just starting out and, they're on a budget and they're not very reasonably willing to just drop tons of money straight off the gate on something they don't even know if they enjoy the hobby yet, or the art of, drumming. You're just still trying, you're still dabbling, you're still getting involved.
Yeah.
I would have never done what we did if you hadn't been able to literally give me a kit. I would have never done it, because it wasn't worth the money for me. I didn't have the spare money to just be like, I'll just buy a kit and see if this works out.
But also, you didn't specifically have the, I want to learn how to play drums.
That's true.
Put you through the crash course to see what would happen.
That's true. I have always wanted to learn drums, but it's never been enough of a priority for me that I could justify spending the money.
Yeah.
So then you basically, you had the issue of beginner drummers who maybe don't have that kind of spare income to spend on really snazzy equipment. They could really end up getting really stuck and really demotivated, where they get, they go on Facebook Marketplace and they get what they can, what's in their area, just so they can start themselves off, and they're trying to push themselves. But they're feeling really beaten down because they're like, oh, I just feel like I'm really rubbish. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then that's where a teacher comes in and gives you that guidance and answers those questions, that instead of having to go the long way around and try and figure it out for yourself, you have someone that can just go, it's okay. You maybe just need to upgrade. And here's what I can recommend so you're not wasting your money.
There we go.
And you just have someone who can just be that extra hand to help you. And it was very helpful having you. Thank you.
I do try.
Yeah. I think the mix of doing the lessons online and in person was interesting as well, because I think they both have different benefits. I think you said in an earlier podcast, you guys were discussing online, they can't just hold your hand and make you do the thing.
Yeah. Well, to clarify, normally I wouldn't go fondling students.
We just have a special
relationship. Whereas I know with you,
but I feel like there must be that temptation when you're teaching someone right and they just can't get it right, and you just want to be like
with kids especially, because you're like, sometimes they don't understand what you're describing, but you have to, like, when you're online, you've just got to, and that therefore means they have to figure it out for themselves. How did you feel?
It's that idea of they have to completely conceptualize what you are saying.
But how did you feel during in-person lessons versus, did you feel that you learned more during in-person lessons or on online lessons?
I preferred in-person lessons.
Is that because I was giving you the answers?
But that's
to
probably
things?
because you were giving me the answers.
Yeah.
Every person's journey is different. I didn't feel like I made as much progress as I wanted to. Even though I was practicing almost every day, I just would really hit a wall pretty much every day after about 30 minutes where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
That's about right then.
I'm really rubbish.
That's how long you should practice.
My biggest issue was just confidence. It really held me back. And poor Bex, who is editing our series,
Hi, Bex.
she's had to edit in some sections being like, please stop crying, it's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Oh my God, is that from Radar?
No, even just from the first week. There's so many vlogs of me just being sat at the kit being like, I'm just rubbish. We should just not do this. I'm so bad. And she's like, it's
I didn't
okay,
realise there
day
were so
3.
many tears.
Yeah, I cried a lot.
Oh my God.
It's emotional because I was just really invested in doing well. Like I genuinely tried so hard and
you
I
nailed
put
it.
so much effort in, but I didn't feel like I achieved what I wanted to achieve because I just like my standards for myself are so high.
And I think a lot
And
of
again,
people's
I'm
are.
used to being a singer who has been good for, good fundamentally just has a good tone.
Yeah.
And like, I've not had to work on a lot of things.
Were you a straight A student?
Yes.
Does
There's a lot of
everyone need to know?
perfectionism
Yeah.
and there's a lot of self-worth tied into that. So
Yeah.
when I'm very much one of those people that if they're not immediately amazing at something, I'm like, I'm just not going to bother.
Bin it off.
This is clearly a rubbish thing for me to be doing and it's not worth my time. It's fine. And I find it really hard to battle that. And I think a lot of people do, when I'm
Absolutely.
when I'm going through comments and like DMs and stuff that we get, so many people will be like, I'm really struggling with my confidence.
Yeah.
I've been playing for 10 years, but I still consider myself a beginner. Like people are delusional about their level because they're so wrapped up in their lack of confidence that they can't see any of the progress.
And again,
that they've made.
that's the benefit of having a teacher
Because they
is
can
you
give you
have
that
a sense of
perspective.
perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, and I think it's a really big thing that holds people back. And I can even just having you be like, no, you're doing a good job. And
Yeah.
there's the only caveat to that is that because we are really good friends, there's only a slight element of distrust in what you say because I'm assuming that you're just trying to make me feel better because we're friends. Whereas if it was a teacher who my relationship with them was very strictly, you are my mentor, you are my teacher. Obviously you can be friends, but like, do you know
they
what I mean?
have their.
You really trust their opinion because you're like, they wouldn't.
They have no stake in the game of making you feel good.
Exactly.
Not
There's
really.
no incentive for them to just inflate your ego and make you feel good about this. They need you to do better. Like that's their role.
I mean,
It was
from
really hard.
from my perspective, like the fact that you went from playing no drums to playing a whole song. Hang
So
on.
dramatic.
I'll say that again. So from my perspective, the fact that you went from 0 in 28 a month days to playing a whole song and reading the sheet music for it,
Yeah.
that's no small thing.
Yeah.
And then performing it on a different drum kit that had been set up differently under lights with a camera in your face. What?
Yeah.
That's like,
That was hard. I found it really difficult
No.
to adjust. No, but like as in the changeover though it was hard to adjust. It was weird.
And you killed it. Like,
I
all
don't think I
things
did.
considered-
But again, there's a confidence issue there.
Yeah. No, it's because you're comparing yourself to
You.
me.
Yeah.
Doing it professionally, the one who played the song on
Who's
the
been
record,
playing
right?
since you were absolutely yay high.
Day dot.
Yeah.
Yes, and who does it as their job.
Yeah.
You know, like you cannot compare
Yeah.
the two, even though everyone's brain will.
Yeah.
Like, and you're around musicians. It's
That's
really
true.
hard being a
I
musician
remember
and
when I
trying to
first
do
came
this.
to uni, having been at school and college, being like, I feel so confident. I feel like I really have a grip on this and I know what I'm doing. Da, da, da. And I came to uni and everyone around me was better than me, which is a lot of people say that's a good thing. I hated it. I don't thrive in those situations.
Straight A student.
I need everyone to be slightly worse. And then I feel okay. The reality check of there's a lot of people and they have also been working really hard at this for a really long time. But yeah, comparison is such a killer. and you just won't ever get anywhere because there will always be someone who is better than you.
Absolutely.
And as soon as you're able to accept that, I haven't quite gotten there, but hopefully you will. A little bit sooner than me. As soon as you're able to accept that and understand that that is just reality, there's always someone who's going to have just been doing it longer, who is just a bit older than you, naturally understood this thing a bit quicker.
Yeah.
If you're constantly comparing yourself, you're never going to catch up because they're just always a step ahead.
And it comes back to the cliche of you got to do it for you, babe. You got to do it for you. What's also, your motivation?
And your self-worth is not tied to your ability as well.
I like that one. That's
again, still trying to...
We're working on
internalise that one.
We're working on it.
It's taking a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was... Overall, the experience was very difficult. It was very fun. And when I made progress, it was very satisfying. So I would say 80% of my vlogs are me going, oh, I'm really rubbish. And then 20% is like, oh my God, I did it. What? But it's that 20% that feels amazing.
Yeah.
When something finally clicks and you're like, yes.
Yeah. And that keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like it just keeps happening. And it gets easier because that baseline of playing ability keeps moving up and up and up.
Yeah.
So even though you get through a song, that getting through sounds better and better and better, and then you're just adding little extra bits and bobs on top of that, just bells and whistles.
Your videos are so good because those are the bells and whistles, baby.
Oh,
but I mean, even as a not as a proper drummer, even watching your videos, they're so easy to understand, even as someone who doesn't have the technical knowledge to be able to put what you're saying into action.
Yeah.
Because it's so digestible. I can really understand how someone who has been playing drums for a while, even people who've been playing, you see in the comments, people be like, I've been playing for decades and I always still pick up something new because there's always something that you can add to your...
Well, it comes back down to that barrier between how fast the brain can go compared to how fast the body can go. I'm doing the brain part for you. There it is.
Yeah.
Now just make your body do that.
Now make your body do it, yeah.
And go slow. That's the big thing.
What advice would you give to someone who's like me, starting out playing drums and really struggling with their confidence?
Well, it's basically everything you said. It's just keep going.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There will come a day where you go, that wasn't bad,
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that sent that tiny little seed of confidence. Yes, there will be discrepancies and it does fluctuate day to day, including for me, but it is an upward wiggle, so to speak, if you keep going. If you stop when you're demotivated, you will believe that you are rubbish forever. You can't drum. I'm just not coordinated.
And
because
look, I had
do
to
this.
stop.
And look,
You're proving
I couldn't keep
it's
going.
a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it is just keep going. Like with any skill that you want to improve on, you're not going to get better if you stop.
The hardest time for when you're learning any new skill is going to be day one, and then it will get easier.
No.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, wrong. Sorry.
Day
Incorrect.
one is the fun bit.
Oh, okay.
Like, because if you think about it, right, so everything's
All
new.
right, day two sucks.
But like
day three,
so
way
think
better.
about, when you're halfway through the process and you have that it's not new anymore. I know what I need to do. This is what needs to happen.
Okay.
I just don't want to do it.
Fair
That's
enough.
the difficult. It's like going to the gym.
No,
right?
I think what it is, there's this very specific point that you reach, where you reach this equilibrium, right? So when you start off, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh my God, anything I'm learning means I'm amazing. I can do this really basic beat. I'm so good. And then you keep going. And then you reach a point where you have the conceptual knowledge of this is what makes a good drummer. This is what, oh wow, I'm starting to understand how good all these people are. Oh no, I can't do that.
Oh no.
And then you start, the more you do it, the more you realise how much it takes.
Do you know what? Do you know what happens? That never ends. It keeps going higher and higher and higher. It never ends. It never ends.
So that's the motivation for you.
That's all the more that reinforces the point of why it's important to be motivated for you. Because you can look at that as like a huge mountain that you get to try and scale.
Yeah.
And you can this is actually quite a good metaphor, but you can either have your eyes on the very, very top that will never actually be gotten to, or you can get to where you're at, turn around and look at the view,
Yeah.
and see how much better you've got.
That really, yeah. That was very good.
That was very good.
That's a clip.
That's a good one.
No, I 100% agree.
exactly
This
it.
is something that I was saying in my vlogs, is that I would be like, it does actually help to look back on your previous footage.
Yeah.
If you film yourself practicing, it's so useful. Even if you will never look at 99% of it, there will be one day when you go, I'm feeling really unmotivated. I feel like I've made no progress.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what I was doing a month ago. And you're like, I'm not that guy.
Who's
I
that?
know better than that guy.
Yeah.
And you'll see how quickly things have come. And there's stuff that in 2 weeks' time, you know, there was stuff where I was like, oh, okay, like this is easy now.
Yeah.
But I look back on day one and I remember how hard that seemed and how impossible it seemed. And then I just the amount of times I would just go to sleep and then suddenly be able to do it the next day.
I talk about this all the time because
That
it's
just felt
amazing.
random. I
It's
was like-
wild, isn't it? Yeah.
I was like, it feels like I've long rested. What is this? That's niche.
Yeah.
Sort of. I'd be like, how come this was such a struggle yesterday, but today I feel silly for being sad about this.
Let your brain do the work. That's
Yeah.
why sometimes it is good to take a break. 100%.
Your brain works in weird, mysterious
Let your brain
ways.
pick up the slack. Like when you're setting something in your brain, let it happen. Let it do what you want it to do. Going back to the watching yourself thing, if you're feeling demotivated, don't film yourself and then watch it back. Don't do it. Not in that moment.
Watch back the previous
further back.
times.
Yes. I had another point, one more point. Oh, clearly wasn't that good. I mean, after the mountain analogy, I was gone. I was just too impressed with myself.
Very nice.
I think we can probably wrap it up, to be honest. Like,
In summary,
yes.
you're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie. Keep going.
Keep watching my videos.
Yeah,
you need
keep watching.
motivation.
Sorry, microphone. She will help you. It's all thanks to her.
Not directly, but via videos. Yes. Like videos like this.
Day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching. If this is a long form video somehow, thank you for watching this interview with the lovely Ilona, and you may see her continue to improve drums. We can try and sort out hi-hat stand and kick
Yeah, if
pedal.
you would like to
I'd
donate
really like you to keep
a
going.
hat stand and a kick pedal. My address is. If I don't know how to play the drums, what should I do? Where should I go? Is there like a free thing that I could download really easily from your bio?
Well, funny you should ask that.
Does it
Ilona.
look anything like this?
My goodness me! Can you believe
It's
it?
even got a
Yes,
picture of your
it
face on it.
does. Blimey! Is that me?
Is that your
enough.
free ebook, The New Drummer's Toolkit?
It may well be. Yes, indeed. However, if you want it in a physical copy, you can't have it.
Sorry.
exist.
That's actually
exist.
the only one.
That
and it's
is-
now. Where's it gone? Oh, it's over there.
So if you want a free ebook, however, just follow the link below, or it's in the bio.
It's
in the
somewhere.
link tree. It will be available somewhere in the vicinity of this video. So go check it out. It is good, I promise.
No
I wrote
credit
it
card required.
with almost 20,000 downloads, I think.
You
can
could be
believe.
20,001.